Alright, so we're looking at a 2004 Acura MDX. Check engine light's coming on. It's running pretty rough. This car, I just adjusted the valves on it a couple months ago. Had cylinder misfires on every single cylinder, and it has like 230 or 40,000 miles on it, and we don't believe the valves were ever adjusted. And if they had been in the past, it was due either way. So anyway, and when I adjusted the valves, the car ran pretty smooth. Just didn't want to idle that good. Idled a little bit rough, and when it was cold, it would die quite a bit, which is a sign of valve issues. So I went ahead and adjusted all the valves. I told them, you know, it may not fix it, but I was pretty confident it would. And regardless, if you're chasing a problem like this, especially on a Honda or whatever, where it has adjustable valves, the best place to start, especially if you don't know when the last time they've been adjusted, and we pretty much assumed it would have been a long time. The best place to start on something like that when all 6 cylinders are misfiring is just go ahead and adjust the valves, get that out of the way. We did that, or I did that, and the car ran great afterwards. Picked up quite a bit of gas mileage. Every single exhaust valve was super tight on it, and we had 2 intake valves that were tight. So I went ahead and adjusted them all. Car ran great for a few months, and now it's back in here for a multi-cylinder misfire, and it's running pretty rough. And I think I already kind of checked it out, so I got an idea. Well, I don't have an idea what it is. I actually haven't opened the hood yet, but anyway, we'll go see what the launch says and look at some data, and then go from there. I already kind of know what I'm going to do unless I see something I don't like under the hood. But yeah, no sense talking about it. We'll just jump right in and get this hoopty fixed back up. Alright, so we got the launch loaded up, and I just went ahead and read the codes, and of course it says 302, 303, 305, 306, and then a random misfire, the p0300. So basically it's saying every cylinder is misfiring except one, and that's actually pretty common on Hondas and Acuras. For some reason, if one cylinder misfires, it just goes ahead and throws all the cylinders under the bus, so to speak, and on the scan tool, it seems like. At least that's been my experience with it. You know, the chances of all 5 or 6 cylinders misfiring are pretty low, unless you have like an intake leak or something like that. But even on something like that, you'd probably just have one bank misfiring. And this has got even and odd cylinders, and basically every cylinder except one. I'm sure it'll throw one in there too if I drove it enough. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. And I don't know, this new camera, I busted my other camera, and I got this camera now. I'm not a big fan of this new camera, even though it's supposed to be nicer. It seems like the other camera was much better. So anyway, I'm going to look at cylinder misfire data real quick, because I don't believe that all these cylinders are misfiring. So cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One thing I don't like about the launch is it doesn't have the steering wheel bracket like the Autel has. Alright, so right here you can see automatically. We're just idling right now, and cylinder 3 is misfiring just at an idle, and all the rest of them aren't. So that right there tells me that's where I want to look at. Let's see. And my guess is if we put this in drive and put it under a load, that misfires. Let me do that real quick. Hopefully this. Try to do this and hold this at the same time. Trying to make these videos better for you guys. Use more tripods and stuff, but it's kind of hard to do that inside a car. Alright. So anyway, looks like cylinder 3 is misfiring. So I'm going to go under the hood next, and we'll see. Unfortunately, cylinder 3 is the backside cylinder on these Honda engines. This has got the V6 in it, and if I'm not mistaken, it starts 1, 2, 3 in the back of the engine, and then 4, 5, 6 in the front. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's how Honda does it. And if they do, then I gotta, it's not going to be as easy to diagnose this because it's in the back of the engine. But anyway, we'll get under the hood, take a look at it, and go from there. All right, so I just want to double check. I was right. So this is the front of the engine right here, and in these Hondas, the front of the engine is the passenger side, and the back side cylinder is 1, 2, and 3, and the front are 4, 5, and 6. So I was right. We're going to go for this number 3 cylinder right here. So this is the firing order and where the cylinders are placed if you need that for your own, if you're working on your own car here. So we're going to look at number 3 here, and I have an idea what I'm going to do first, but we'll look at it and make sure there's nothing obvious with it, and then I'll tell you what my strategy is, and then we'll go from there. So number 3 in the back is what we're going to be concerned about to start out. Alright, so the first thing we got to do is remove this stupid engine cover that everybody likes to put on their cars now. 10 millimeter. There's 4 of them. I actually my son works at Ford, and he's been starting to work on cars himself, and I was looking for this impact just now to take this engine cover off, and lo and behold, I found it in his room. So even in family, they can borrow tools and not bring them back. Probably got to break his finger when he gets home, teach him a lesson. It's tough love, but you borrow a man's tools, you don't bring them back, there has to be consequences. So I don't know. Break a finger, maybe black eye, something like that. We'll have to figure it out when he gets home, see what kind of attitude he gives me about stealing my tools and leaving them in his room. So that's a joke. Don't call child services on me or anything. Plus he's 19, so he can move out if he's abused too badly. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and look back here and see what's going on with it. I think just from experience and all that good stuff, my guess is it's probably a coil going out. This one had quite a few coils changed on it when I did the valves, because somebody was chasing the valve problem, and they were getting parts happy, changing everything. So there's probably some aftermarket cheap coil in there or whatever. So what I'm going to do, probably, unless I find something in there when I go back there, is I'm going to switch number 3 out for number 6, put number 6 in number 3, and then we'll start it back up and see if the misfire moves to number 6. If it moves to number 6, then we know the coil's bad, and number 3 is not misfiring. Then we know the coil's bad, and we'll just go ahead and throw a coil in it. If it doesn't move to number 6, then we're looking at fuel injector or something like that, intake leak. But we won't jump the gun. It's just one of the easier things to do on these cars. You got a 10 millimeter bolt, take it out. 10 millimeter bolt, take it out, swap them. And I would say, like, if it was just a straight on, it does run pretty bad, but it seems like when it's cold it runs a little bit better. So anyway, we're not going to make too big of a deal out of it. We're just going to switch those 2 coils around, look at our scan tool data, and see if the misfire moved. If it has, then we know we found the problem. If it hasn't, then we'll dig deeper. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so I forgot, these aren't 10 millimeter bolts on Honda, it's the 6 mil Torx. It's kind of silly looking through a viewfinder while it's upside down and pointing towards you. So anyway, you just unplug the plug on the top of it, just push it in. By the way, too, if you do call child services on me, you actually might be doing me a favor, because he's 19 years old, he eats quite a bit, he uses the water for laundry and all that stuff. So I wouldn't be that mad maybe if you call child services on me. So anyway, you just put this on the bolt, unscrew it, and then this coil should just pull right out. we got stuff in the way. Always have stuff in the way. And boy, this has got some goo on it. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off real quick. Alright, so one thing you want to check, you obviously can't really tell if these coil packs are bad by just looking at them. This one looks like it's brand new. One thing you do want to check on them is the boot here, and make sure there's no tracking, signs of tracking. A lot of times you'll see a white or gray streak. If there was a tear somewhere in this, you know, you might see like a whitish gray streak, or, you know, signs of tracking. So I don't see anything on this. This is the cylinder that was good anyway, so I didn't expect to see anything on it. Now we'll go for this back one and pull it out. Number 3, which is the one we suspect is bad. And just push in the clip. Pull it out. Then we'll get the tool back there and unscrew it. See what we're doing a little bit. On these Hondas, it's not too bad to get to the back of the engine. Now, if this is the Chrysler 306 or something, you'd be in trouble. You have to pull the whole. Actually, on the back of the Chrysler, it's not bad. The front is where it's bad. On the front, on those Chrysler 306, you have to pull the intake up. Now, there's quite a bit of oil on this. And this one also looks like it's a newer one, but that really doesn't mean anything. So I'm going to go ahead and just switch them around. I'm not even going to put the bolt back in right now. I'm just going to push them down in there. Make sure they snap into the spark plug. Put the top connector back on. And we'll just leave the bolt off and start her up and see if our misfire moves around. If it does, then we'll put the bolt back in on the back and you know, change this one out. Now this is number 6 up here. So when we go look at the scan tool, we should see the misfire number 6 and number 3 should be good. So let's go check that out real quick and see what happens. Alright, so it's kind of what I suspected. Number 3 now has 0 misfires, and number 6 is counting up pretty fast, 135, 136. So we moved that coil from here to here, and the misfires went. I hope you can see this. I can't see anything through this viewfinder. So anyway, the misfires went to cylinder number 6. So what that tells us is this coil is no good. So I'm going to shut this car off so I don't kill myself. Alright, so I went ahead and shut it off so I don't, you know, go to sleep, go nighty-night. So anyway, I think that's a pretty definitive answer to what's going on here. We have a bad coil. So I'll go ahead and put that bolt back in the back, and then I don't have to worry about that. And then we'll go get a coil, put it in, clear the codes, test drive it. Should be good to go. But we'll double check all that, and I'll pick it back up and show you. So anyway, I'll go order a coil, get it, and then we'll pick this video back up and see what happens here. Alright, so this is the old coil. This is the gray. These are the gray black coils. I believe this is the lower version that O'Reilly sells. And then the Import Direct, which O'Reilly's also sells, is all. I just lost a spring. Is all black. And I think these are they're both lifetime warranty actually, but the all black ones they're a little bit better quality, I guess you could say. And so we're going to go ahead and put this one in. It's a lifetime warranty. These aren't very expensive. Of course, OE would be the best, but when you have cars this old, you know, it's not always feasible to do that. You know, spend that kind of money on a almost 20-year-old car, and then I lost my. There it is. You know, sometimes with Hoopties, you just have to buy the cheaper alternative and hope for the best. This car's got 250,000 miles on it. You don't want to spend a ton of money on parts. Or at least try not to. So go ahead and plug it back in, and we'll go ahead and start it up again and see if we have no misfires, which is what we expect to find. And then closing thoughts on it, and then alright, so we got it running. It's been running a little bit, and you can see there's no misfires on any of the cylinders, so it looks like it's fixed. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off real quick and kind of give you my thoughts on a few things, and then we'll move on to the next one, but I want to shut this off. Alright, so anyway, car's obviously fixed. I think it's a little bit low on oil. I checked it and it didn't register. And I'm hearing a little bit of clattering in the top end, so I need to put some oil in it. But anyway, kind of an old school way to find misfire trouble is through switching the coils around. You know, you could scope it or pull it out and check for spark and do all that, which is fine, and it does work. But on something like this, where the coils are all easy to get to, you know, it takes me less than 2 minutes to switch those around, start it back up, and see if there's a misfire on the opposite cylinder. And of course there wasn't, or there was, and then we know for sure it's the coil. You know, you don't have to always overthink these kind of issues or problems. Now I will say this should just put out a p0303, which would be a misfire on cylinder 3. Honda, for whatever reason, likes to throw all the cylinders under the bus and snitch on them all, even though the other ones are doing their job. So I don't know. I've ran across that quite a bit with Hondas and Acuras, and I don't know why they do that per se. Sometimes on even the Toyotas, they'll do that a little bit, but on Toyota it seems like it will, if you clear the codes and get a misfire, then that one will come up first and the other ones will pin. I don't want to get too far off track here, but if you have a scan tool that will read misfire data, that's the easiest way to figure out which cylinder it is if you're just getting a p0300 or a several of the p0300s. Now, of course, if you have like a lean, you know, a bad intake gasket or something like that, you might get a bank full of lean cylinders, or you could get multi-cylinder misfire like that. There's all different reasons why that can come up. Multiple cylinders. Hondas, if you have multiple cylinders, it could be valves are out of adjustment. So you have to look at that. But I just did this a few months ago, I think back in November, and I knew it wasn't that. So that's just all things to think about. It would be nice if you know, the number 3 was the one misfiring. If it just sent off a p0303, then you just know. And especially if you got a cheaper scan tool, then you would know which cylinder to go for right away. But because a lot of the cheaper scan tools won't have cylinder misfire data like the Launch and the Autels and stuff like that have. So this is the Launch X431, and I use it quite a bit. This price-wise and what it does, I think is better than Autel, but I actually prefer the Autel more. It seems like the Autel, I don't know. I don't want to get into all that, but between the Autel and the Launch, you can pretty much diagnose most cars, and you know, if one won't do it, then the other one will, and vice versa. So anyway, I don't know what else to say about it. That's just I just wanted to show kind of an old school trick on how to diagnose a misfire you know, and a quick way to check it and see. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put the engine cover back on and take it for a test drive. I don't think anything will come up. If it does, I'll let you know, but you know, here sitting idling, it's not showing any misfire, so I think it's good to go. So anyway, I appreciate you watching, and I guess I'll catch you on the next one. God bless, have a nice day, and thank you.